Hi, I'm Tim from Hank's Meat and Game. So we're just going to run through some seasonal lamb ready for Easter that you could have on your plate. We got French trim rack of lamb, legs of lamb, and then our double lamb chops. So this is our lamb. This is sourced from less than 3 miles away from the shop. It's 100% grass fed, and at the moment it's hogget lamb, so it's the best flavour. It's been on the grass for coming up to 12 months. We've got the rack here and then the loin here. So what I'm going to do is take it off at the end of the rib bones, like so. You can tell by the depth of the colour of that how tasty that's going to be. It's even got marbling running through the lamb. So this is how we cut our double lamb chops. Right, so onto the rack of lamb. So what I'm going to do first is chime down either side of the backbone, making sure I don't score it too deep that it goes into the eye of the meat. So it may look like I'm just hacking away at this, but butchery is a skilled art. There's so many different cuts, and it's forever growing as well, because we've got to learn all the continental and international cuts that people use as well. So as you can see now, I've chimed that, and what I'm going to do now is run my knife down. So spin it round and we'll go down the other side of the backbone. Making sure we're taking the gristly bit out as well. So what I'm going to do now is, with a guideline down in between each of the ribs, pushing all the way through. So I've got a guide and a marker the other side. Then I'm going to tip of my knife, go either side of the rib bones, not too deep. So we want this to come off as one piece. And we'll flip it over. You see a guide mark there. So I'm going to go along there and see how this comes off as one piece then. So we're going to clean the rib bones off, because when we cook them, otherwise they're just going to burn. So this is another attention to detail that we do, because we want this to be the best when you display it on your plate. So lamb isn't just for Easter. You can always have this on dinner parties, functions, anything like that, and spoil your guests or your family. Right, so what we're going to do now is split it into 4 bone racks. So counting up 4 bones, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to cut through on both of these. In a hot pan with some butter, a bit of garlic and some rosemary. You're going to do a couple of minutes either side, so it all just browns off and goes crispy on the fat, and then the same through the bone. You're going to turn it over and cook it bone side down, just so it gets some heat through the bottom, and then about 10 minutes in the oven to finish it off. But if you keep watching, I'm going to show you a different way how I'm going to cook this over open fire. So continuing our theme, because it's Easter, this is our Herefordshire leg of lamb. Right, so we're going to carvery cut this leg of lamb now. So basically all that means we're going to take the pelvis bone and the hip bone out, then roll the joint back up, just so it makes your life a bit easier when you're carving on your roast dinner. Holding my knife like a dagger, I'm going to follow this pelvis bone round, down around the hip bone, exposing the bone, into the hip bone, through to the tail. That's that bone off. Trimming any excess fat off. Although the lamb fat is flavour, you don't want too much, because it's going to be too rich and then too clacky on your mouth when you're eating the fat. So when we roll a leg of lamb, like any other meat, we're going to make sure all the strings are same distance apart, and we always make sure that knots are all in a straight line. This is how much detail we go into presenting our meat. So this gives the extra wow factor when you're serving it on your roast. I love lamb because the taste on the hogget lamb now, for me is the best flavour you'll get. It's been feeding outside all winter, so it's had the best nutritional values it's had. It's been feeding on grass, so you know it's going to taste good. There's something about eating lamb at Easter. It's just screams Easter, doesn't it? An extra flavour on the plate, all your family around Easter Sunday. You know, what more of a centrepiece do you need? So the temptation for some for pulling this out of the oven on Easter Sunday is too good. We've already sold it to one of the crew members. There we go, Rich. Happy Easter.
Nice.
So let's go cook this and show you how good it is. So here we are. We're on the open fire asado. We've got local birchwood charcoal underneath burning away lovely. We got our racks of lamb, bit of butter, garlic and some rosemary. So we're just going to brown this off first on the asado, get the butter melted and we're going to cook it away. And in typical British style, we're having a barbecue and it's raining. Brilliant. Personally, I love cooking on charcoal because you get that best smoky flavour around the meat. There's no better charcoal than birchwood. So you can see what I said earlier, why it's key not to have too much fat on it. If that was too fat, it would be that thick with it. It would be lifting and you wouldn't get as much flavour. So this lamb should be nice and rare now. So let's cut it up and see what it's like. So Hank's Meat and Game, brack of lamb, perfect for Easter.